Hi, it's Kelsey from Junk Journal Magic. Ugh, stuff is everywhere. I need to have a clean up my desk video where I do things with everything that's laying here, because that's normally what I do. I make things out of everything and then it'll be clear. But for now, I need to show you my Alice journal I'm working on. This is for the Go Ask Alice collab, hosted by @MysticDawnArt and @Odds and Ends. This is a hashtag GAA, and this was the stretchy band. You see it's been pulled out here where that stretch is gone, so it's really loose. But this was a hanging file folder, and I altered it to make a trifold book cover, journal cover. And what I'm going to do, before I do anything else, I'm going to show you what I did to finish it, because you're seeing here a focal point on the front. I had some bats up here I wanted to cover, so I went ahead and I cut this round or oval shaped mirror with Alice painting roses, you know, kind of what happened to her, one of the little things that seems somewhat normal. I mean, I don't think Alice, after she recovers from her Wonderland experience, would want to remember some of those things, but painting the roses is kind of not so bad. But anyway, here she is. This is one of her memories, and I went ahead and printed it out. Do I have anything left that oh no, I think I cut everything up except for this. I printed a bunch of stuff out, and I went ahead and I added glue stick, put it onto cardstock, cut it out, just fussy cut around the edges. And it was still boring. It's still very boring. I'm like, ugh. So I got my black soot ink, my Distress ink from Tim Holtz out. And I went around the edges. I use Distress ink. I prefer it for everything because it is not as intense. And what I mean by intense is that the oxides have an acrylic component that does not sink into your paper. So you get a lot of color wherever that you apply that oxide. I like mine to be very mild. I can go back and add more as much as I want, but I don't want it to be as intense at the beginning, because if I hit that wrong, I'm going to make an ugly mark that will not go away. So what you can do, and I learned this a long time ago, I watched Tim Holtz 3-hour videos on Distress inks and then one on Distress oxides. And what you can do is go to Amazon, because when you go into Michael's or Hobby Lobby, they only have Distress oxide. I don't know why. And you can order a Distress ink pad. And if you do that, I highly recommend you order one Reinker. I used to do that at Joann's all the time. They had stuff on sale all the time, and I would order 3 or 4 and get free shipping. So it was a great deal. I'll remember to go in and link to the Distress ink pad in case that's what you're looking for. I have an older vintage photo ink pad. I will barely re-ink. And when I say that, I'll add a couple drops. I keep that thing as dry as possible where it functions to re-ink my little dauber pad. And then when I go around, if I'm heavy-handed, it still does not have a big mark here or there. It just goes on the way it should. That's my tip for inking. Anyway, I inked around the edge with black soot. And then I thought, okay, that's good, but I got this red mesh from maybe some little oranges, whatever they're called, cuties or whatever. And then I had this little pouch with the decorative tool that had this star and moon stamped onto it. See, they're lovely and shiny. So I went ahead, I cut that thing down where I could make some strips, and took a strip and put it behind here with the red netting. There's a little bit of red netting right down here. By the time I got it glued down, I was like, well, I can't adjust that if I wanted to. I just glued it on the back with a little bit of Fabri-Tac and let that dry, and then I glued the whole thing down. I also went in and I sewed a piece of this gold trim with the leaves down with a little bit, you can see here it's got a little bit of that star and moon tool, and I did the zigzag for effect. But I put a little more of that vine over here. I wish I had made it a little higher, but you know, that's life. You wish, you wish. Anyway, you still get the big moon. There's a little gold moon of some stars. It's night-ish. And the thing I really want to note here is this is a little companion project that goes with my moon journal. Just like my quote journal, this is another lunar illuminations book. All these things go with my moon journal. And this one is going to be unique. I will tell you next time. Right now, I just want to show you how I altered the folding piece, the trifold piece. I cut off the tabs. My hour video I made doing all of this extra stuff besides putting these colorful printed pieces of paper down, adding the keyhole, making things like this card, that video is gone. I uploaded it to my editor and it was behind the 1 hour and 10 minutes that came before this video of me just cutting this piece down and folding it, altering the hanging file folder. That's what I should call it. So I thought it was all there. And then I went in and I have to delete everything that I had uploaded to reduce the amount of junk stored in my phone so I can make more videos. Or I can upload or download something. It's very fussy. So I went in and deleted everything, went up, opened it to edit it, and it was only the first video. Thank God it saved that first hour, because then I would have had to alter another one of these, and the hanging file folders I have left are green. Then it would have been obvious I was doing a second trifold piece here. So I went ahead, I put all these papers on each side, and I made pockets here with the piece of scrapbooking paper I had. So let me just start. I went and found a piece of scrapbooking paper. I cut the top. See, this thing tells you what it was, but I probably got these at Joann's. And I cut this postcard off because it was green. I need to put a little glue right there. And I added it to a piece of something. Maybe that's just cardstock, just white. So that's ready to go. It can be for journaling. And then now I did not ink these little papers that I tore with my tearing ruler, but I printed these things off of Pinterest. Almost said Etsy, not the same place. And I was saying Instagram. I printed this off Pinterest. Went ahead and just glued it on here because I like the sparkly stars. And it says the only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible. So that's going to come into play with the big reveal over what this journal is going to be about, other than just Alice in Wonderland. And then I made a card. I love this. I printed out, thought that's perfect for going with whatever it is I'm doing. Now I did ink around the edges of each of these with that black soot, just to kind of make it all go together. I wanted that edge to all meld together if you could see both pieces of paper, because the back of this is another piece of this cardstock, and I thought it'd be easy to write down here and to write on this side. So yeah, that's all together. Let me get this back in here. And I did put a little piece of the file folder edge. I cut off one of these. This was on the inside of each end. I cut these folds out and I saved these because I thought that would be an easy piece to cut down and make little tabs. And see, I tried it. I made a little tab. It works. Works fine. And I have two pockets here. This one's a little deep at the top, but I'm being careful not to push my card down in there where I can grab it. So maybe I should put this one in there. Yeah, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? This one is longer, so if it goes down in there, the tab might still be sticking out. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. So, okay, that's better. And then I added this keyhole. The braver you are, the more you'll see. So, what does that mean? The braver you are, the more you'll see. The braver you are, the more you can face something and understand it, right? Okay, so that's real important to the journal. And then here is a little card I made with another offcut of that piece of scrapbooking paper. I love the sparkles. And I love the rays of light. It's almost illuminating, like a lunar illumination project. So being a little weird is just a natural side effect of being awesome. So what's wrong with being a little weird? That's the point. And this is a strange looking caterpillar. I think he's on, oh no. That's like a bong. Shh, that shouldn't be on a video. Okay, so yeah, there's that. And then there's nothing left. I cut these flaps off. Did I throw them out? No, they're right here. because I thought, I might need that cardstock for something. That one was on this side. I mean, I fussed and fussed with that in the first video. I fussed, and I got those corners to kind of somewhat look correct and bilateral. I wanted some symmetry there. But I just cut it off, and I took the corner punch, and I went on both ends, and boom, there we go. That was easy. So, let me show you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to open this, and I want to cut down. Oh, the little corners are falling out. But I wanted to cut this out. I'm going to lay these down carefully. So I think this will help with the bulk issue. After I glued the sides together, after I cut these expansion pieces out, and I did that at the base too, I should have gone ahead and done this. So, you'll see what I mean. If you don't do this, you usually get buckling. And the buckling, you know, it's not that big a deal if you don't care, but it does kind of impede your journal, your folio, closing. And I've made some little pieces I've sold in my Etsy shop that have like 3 or 4 little flaps. And sometimes you just have to go back and do this with sides, or it just won't close correctly. So, if you ever have one do that, think, okay, what have I done that I can fix? You know, what have I left that is bulking up this and causing pieces to move incorrectly? So, here. Let me get that off there. Now, why I did that, and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and fix this one side, and then I'll speed up the other side so you can watch it without me boring you to tears. I don't want to glue this side yet. I'm going to wait until I finish. I probably should have waited till the end to glue this, but you know, that's just that. That's just that. And this book weight I found watching Gail Agostinelli, and I went, I'm getting that bad boy, and I love it. This thing holds things down when there's flipping everywhere, and it helps press things down while they're gluing. But because art glitter glue grabs so quickly, I'm finished with that weight already. Okay, now I want to go ahead and clip this side. Okay, it's ready. Give me a couple minutes to let it rest and all that glue to do its magic, and then I'll show you what I mean about it folding better. Because I basically had to do what Lori Marie Jenkins always did. I had to fold this up and sit on it in this chair while I did other things to get it to smush out flat, because that bulk in that fold right there was making the different flaps flapping correctly, and it would make all this second layer up here on the top of this cardstock buckle and have weird undulations in it. Same on this side. So basically, I cut that extra thick little area right there out, and now it will just fold, and nothing's buckling. It's just laying correctly. So when you make something like this, remember, make sure those folds are nice and flat and they fold easily. Ah, I love it. It's perfect now. I'm still debating over whether or not to keep this flap. I'll need to have something put in, maybe it'll be something that can catch down here. That would be kind of fun. It will add bulk. I don't know if I want to do that with that particular thing. I could use some cord like on one of these. Oh, here's a better one. Some cord, and the cord can go down and catch down here. I love these things, but that would add bulk in here too. So, ooh, that's fun. And maybe we could have something funny up here like an Alice head or a Cheshire cat or something. Ooh, I like that idea. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I like it better on the clock. I'll leave that right there so I can think about it. Anyway, I'm not sure. I am going to have information here. I'm going to have some paper, might even sew in a few pages and make it feel more traditional. But this is basically finished and ready to go with the next step. And I may add that on this video at the end, or I may have a separate video. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing before I move along. I went ahead and I saw this quote. It says, "It is the supreme art to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge." Albert Einstein said that, and I thought that would be a good quote for this. You'll know why when I finally show you what's going into this folio, other than a few little decorative things right now. So I went ahead and inked it with my Black Soot Distress ink. Like I said, I'll try to find that on Amazon, because usually I can find each individual color when I get in there. Sometimes it's not available, but you know, you can get it elsewhere if you need to, because you're like me and you can't stand those oxides. They're just too strong. I like the light-handedness look of the inks over the oxides. That old heavy-handed look is just too much for me. But hey, if you don't care, you don't care. So there's that. I like that there. And then I put this doodled stem that I made. I don't make very good collage fodder. Trashy Treasures. That's where it says T-R-E-A-S, then Y-O-U-R-S. Trashy Treasures. Her channel, love what she does. It's like all I can do to get one thing out of anything I try to put anywhere. So I'm going to make a funny flower here. I'm going to put the definition of brilliance on here as the flower head. And I want this right about there. It needs to look like it's resting naturally, centered on the top of that stem. And then I have the word about. I've inked them both with the black soot. And I'm going to put this right here so it looks like that little whatchamadoodle thingy at the bottom of the flower that attaches to the stem. And there we go. Now I have a funny brilliant definition, as in brilliant sunlight, brilliant performance, brilliant student, brilliantly, brilliance. It's kind of fun. It's fun. And then about, and this is all supposed to be about illumination. So to be a brilliant student is to become illuminated. So I like that. That works for me. So there we go. And you'll see me again shortly with some more work on this. But I don't want to put too much all together at one time because that's boring to watch. It's more fun to have it in small doses. So next time I should be adding the things that go in the pockets and everything. And you'll see where this is going.